Okay, very good. So hopefully everyone can see my window. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Blocktrade's 2025 annual vision. And the theme of, as you usually have, is today is going to be a blockchain-powered financial future. So thanks everyone for joining us. We've got a really good turnout again today, and more and more are still coming in. As usual, I'm Sam, and I'm the chairman of FSR Group and also a director of Blocktrade. And today, I know people have been writing messages to me and complaining and saying, "Hey, Sam, we're really tired of seeing your ugly face." So today we're going to have some special guests, and we're going to have members of our team speak as well. So I'm really excited about that because that's an opportunity for you guys to get to know our C-suite. And also, yeah, I have a very good friend of mine joining as well, and I'll speak about that in a moment. So, as I've mentioned, we're going to try and keep a shorter agenda today. Obviously, we're in the welcome at the moment, and then after that, I'll make a quick introduction to our special guests. Then our guests will speak. After that, we'll have an opportunity for our C-suite team to speak as well. I'll give some updates on where we are, our kind of vision for where we're headed for this year and beyond. Just an update to that. Of course, if you want to know more about these things, please feel free to have a look on YouTube or any of our blogs, social media. These types of areas are really where you're going to have an opportunity to remember or look back on the different topics that we've covered. There have been many. And what I find very interesting and I feel good about is that many of the things that I've spoken about in the past, they have come to pass in terms of predictions or my vision for the trends of the future. All of these types of things have really come to pass and have happened. So I feel good about that because it shows that I think we're on the right direction. After that, we'll give our roadmap and we'll make some special announcements as well. So yeah, without further ado, we've got everyone in the chat, and we're going up to 400 people now, and I'm just gonna introduce our special guests. So today, our guest will be Karl Brenza, Senior Managing Director of Maxim Group, and he's also the head of Capital Markets Growth. And Maxim Group is an investment bank that I've worked with in the past, worked with Karl as well, and one of the top investment banks, especially you can see here, it's the #1 in the league table rankings for second half of 2024, and just a huge number of transactions and transactional value completed. Karl is going to join us. He's going to tell us a little bit about Maxim Group and a little bit about how we're going to be working together in the future for Blocktrade, which is what we've spoken about in the past. And I've invited him here today so that he can, provide that kind of insight and information onto where we're headed and what the transaction and how going into the US market is going to look like. I'm going to shut off this slide now temporarily so that I can get Karl on the screen. Do apologize though, his camera seems a little bit blurry. I don't know why. I've been telling him I'm buying him a new camera, but I guess when you're making billion-dollar deals all the time, you don't need to have a good camera. So I'm bringing Karl on board now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit blurry here. I'm still trying to get this fixed, but well, pleasure being here, Sam. I've worked with Sam over the last couple of years on a number of successful transactions, and we have built a very strong relationship. I am, as we discussed, both as Senior Managing Director here at Maxim. I run the advisory group, and I also am the chairman of a NASDAQ listed company that we just completed the de-SPAC for. So have two jobs. So the way a little bit about Maxim, we are the leading, or certainly one of the leading investment banks on the street for deals, basically kind of $500 million or lower in value. We're one of the top firms, and we take a lot of pride in that. It's We have about 270 people at our firm, 30 or so of those, and the real driver behind our firm is our investment banking department, which I'm one of the senior members of, and that drives the substantial amount of our business. We also have a very robust sales force, about 60 or 70 retail sales folks who deal with individual high net worth people. I presume similar to most of the folks on the phone today. And then we also have a similar sized group dealing with institutional investors. So that's thousands of institutions, all the way from the Fidelities and the T. Rowe Prices on down to family offices and small cap funds, small cap hedge funds. So we cover the full gamut of institutional investors. We have a very strong, I think we have 12 research analysts now. One of them specializes in crypto, and we just actually held a crypto conference, which we do periodically for predominantly public companies in the crypto space. So obviously, as Blocktrade moves into the public markets, you will be part of our conferences, part of our presenting to our sales teams, and getting the full support of our firm going forward. And then, of course, we'll be one of the lead market makers for Blocktrade upon completion of the IPO. And we make markets in tens of thousands of stocks, predominantly U.S. exchanges. We focus predominantly on NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, as well as OTC. But our goal in life really is to help companies achieve a national listing, either on NASDAQ or New York. And that is what our whole firm is built around. We really like what Blocktrade is doing. We believe the strategy makes tremendous sense. The focus on Europe, the next step leading into the US, the full set of services in terms of a sales and trading platform, along with the custodial and deposit platform. And obviously, crypto is a very hot space right now. And that is something that can't be understated. And it only looks like it's going to get more and more attention focused on it as we move forward over the next couple of years. At least we believe at least the next 3 years. And the fact that Blocktrade has its own blockchain capability is also, we believe, very, very critical, and can be a tremendous value add. So the strategy of building a presence throughout Europe, moving into the US, and then perhaps Asia, we think is ideal. The clean capital structure, the broad shareholder base, all of this lends itself very firmly to a successful IPO, which is ultimately what we're here to help with. I mean, we'll be working with Sam and the team all the way from now through to that point in time. And we're excited to be involved, and we think this is the right time, the right industry, and the right company to be successful this year in attaining a listing on most likely the NASDAQ. So I don't know, Sam, if there's anything else you'd like me to cover.
Sorry, had a muted connection. No, that's fantastic, Carl. I really appreciate you coming in here, and I think you've lent a lot of knowledge and strength to our proposition. I appreciate the work that we've done so far. I've been in general always a type of person who likes to under promise and over deliver. So we've been quiet about this whole thing, but the fact that you've joined us today, it's really an honor for me and for us as a community. As you can see, there's even just on a weekday, we've got hundreds of people joining in to hear and understand, all of who are long-term supporters of this project. I really appreciate that, and I'm really looking forward to continue our working relationship, which we've built up over the years, and yeah, especially those without of our team as well. So this is just I mean, for everyone here, I really feel confident with the Maxim Group in their capabilities, because they have really they've got a good analyst and research team that especially covers and kind of decentralized finance stocks, crypto. And I was watching their recent conference on crypto and DeFi, and I can see that more and more people are trying to move to be public companies in this space. And what I hope that we're going to be able to do is to create the first European listed or on the NASDAQ or NYSE, the first European listed exchange. And I think that's going to bring just major benefit and trust to our project. So I really want to thank you and appreciate very much you taking the time to come in and speak to us today. I know you're very, very busy, and you've probably got lots of meetings here. I appreciate you taking the time. It's actually, it seems to be your lunchtime, at the moment. So yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
And
of course.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And for everyone else, we'll continue on with the rest of the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Sure.
Field the questions.
If anyone has questions for me, just ping me. I can get back on, and happy to continue discussing anything that anyone would like. So again, very excited. We're very excited to be involved, and think this is going to be a very successful project for everybody. So thanks so much. Thanks a lot, Sam. Really appreciate it. My pleasure to be here, and look forward to working with everyone. So
fantastic. Yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, we just what just came to my mind is there's amazing things that are going to be happening in the US for crypto with Trump as the president, and he's really with Musk and David Sachs. Really, they're moving at a lightning speed in everything. So I think this is one of the really exciting things for us to be working with a New York-based investment bank, American people, to build fantastic products. And I'm sure that after the end of the, whatever wars and things that we have in the world right now, it's going to be back to US and Europe holding hands again. So thanks again. Yeah, thanks again for that, Carl. And if there's anything, I'll ping you. But we'll field some questions if there's anything like that. We'll obviously, keep updated to everyone. So yeah, very good.
Great. All righty. Sounds great.
Thanks, Carl.
Nice to talk to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, that was a really amazing to have Carl, who, as I mentioned, he not only is he a senior managing director at Maxim, but he represents the firm and leads the growth advisory team. And he's been an investment banker, I think, more than 25 years. Fun fact. I spoke to him one time, and we discussed his name, which is Karl with a K and Brenza. And so he seems to think that he's originally Austrian. So fun fact for the Europeans out there. So this is it was really great that he made time to speak, and it was very important actually for me that we showed that this is a situation where we're really moving forward with a great pace. We get to do all the right things and explain our project to people, and this has resulted in some traction. Not just some, but significant traction in what we're doing. I'll provide some information on the Maxim Group itself as well later on, but I'll just jump back into our slides now. So here we go. Just jump back in. So hopefully everyone can see that. So yeah, I mean, realistically, you can see did 150 transactions last year, and raised 1.3 billion, 1.7 billion in the combination value, and yeah, 16.7 billion overall, which is just amazing, and number one. So I really appreciate that, and we're gonna go into the next part now, which will be an introduction to our team. So I promised earlier that I won't be just the only ugly person in on our chat, and here we go. Here on this, I'm gonna start signing in our other team members here. Both Wilson and Brett are in the same office at the moment, so they'll present there, and Brian will be coming on board. So I'll just I'm gonna switch off this slide, and then just jump into the change of the teamwork. So here we go. Okay, very good. So here we have these two. So I created this with AI actually. Wilson and Wilson and Brett. What I did was we didn't have enough budget for more team members, so I just created an AI version of, of one and the same. So we have our two very very good looking ginger redheaded super fit team, and I like it because we I think we, as far as diversity is concerned, we have a lot of redheads in our team, and I really like it. Recently we've been in chats and epic mustaches, so this is very good. I'm just gonna hand over to Wilson and Brett now, who are our CTO and our CFO respectively. You saw a little bit in our slide just now about their backgrounds, but yeah, please, I'll hand it over to you first, Wilson.
Excellent. Thanks, Sam. Hi, everyone. I think I've met a few of you on the call previously. My name's Wilson Tucker. I've been, well, I think I've known Sam for about, well, 20 years, probably too long. I think you'd agree. Very long time. Actually, I think we went to school at the same place. We got a computer science degree back in the day, many moons ago in Bunbury, Western Australia. And I've been in the software engineering space for about a decade or so, and worked for a few companies here in Australia, based in Western Australia, and I spent about 4 years over in Seattle, working for Amazon and Expedia, managing some software teams over there in a few different roles, managing a few teams in the regulatory space, and then more recently I've come back to Western Australia. I've been in politics as an elected official in WA for 4 years, and then it's sort of a different perspective from the private sector. I've been in the public sector and more in the regulatory space, advocating for the tech and innovation area and digital assets as well. So yeah, sort of both sides of the fence, you could say, and very excited to, as I said, I've known Sam for a very long time, absolutely bought into the vision, very happy to be on board, and yeah, looking forward to the future. Hi all, Brett Tucker, brother of Wilson, you might have guessed, and representing the minority gingers, which is a dying segment of the population. But as Sam mentioned, I'm the Chief Financial Officer. I'm a chartered accountant background, but I've been a director of a corporate advisory firm, also based in Perth, Western Australia, where I've been responsible for bringing about 20 companies through initial public offering and listing on the Australian Stock Exchange here. Range of different industries, but including technology startups. Also founded a private equity firm that was focused on investing in pre-IPO companies before they became public, and also sit on a number of boards as a non-executive director and a company secretary, primarily responsible for governance and also financial accounting and CFO services. So again, like Wilson, pleased to be on board and look forward to working with the team and as we move towards the NASDAQ listing.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, both of you. I'm just going to keep you on screen now because I'm going to bring Brian on. But Brian generally doesn't like to be in these types of things. I don't think he was too happy when I asked him. So I'm just going to introduce him a little bit. So Brian is our CIO, and he's been responsible for many things. He is, I would say, my best friend in this world, including these other two gentlemen here. And I'm so honored and proud that I can have people that I've known for so long and believe in me and what we're trying to achieve, and believing all of us actually, and supporting this through what it's not an easy process. It's a process that requires a lot of commitment, a lot of drive. I've also known Brian for much more than 20 years, actually longer than I've known Brett and Wilson. And it's just for me every day, waking up and after a small amount of sleep and knowing that I'm going to be working on things with my best friends is just like it's just a dream come true for me, and I really appreciate it so much. So Brian, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. Hi, I'm Brian King, CIO of Blocktrade. I specialize in the system infrastructure and security. I have over 25 years of experience in that, a little bit less than how long I've known Sam. I've been in the power utilities, hospitality, healthcare, and aerospace manufacturing sectors. I actually founded an aerospace manufacturing company that supplied parts to Airbus for the A350 program nearby to us. And we gained our AS9100 certification to be able to do that and various other Airbus qualifications. And something that you guys might be familiar with as well is I've done a lot of work for Swissport, which you may have seen in around your airports in the European area. But yeah, I'm excited to bring everything I know, knowledge I have, and work with Blocktrade and of course Sam and the team. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian, Wilson, and Brett. This has really just been amazing. And we're going to continue to expand our team and of course in the future. And there's many more others that haven't joined yet into this call. We can't bring everyone. We'll put a bit more diversity into this. What we have is geographic diversity. So I'm here, I'm in Asia, Brett and Wilson are in Australia, and Brian is in the US. So we're obviously we've got other European team members and everything else, and we're going to bring some additional diversity to it, as Wilson always tells me, because he's the how to say the politician among us. So he likes to tell us that we DEI, although for Brian DEI is a bad word now. It's just there is no diversity in America. So very good. I'm going to jump back onto the slides. Thank you all of you for joining us today on this chat, and I'll just get back into the slides and continue today's presentation. I said I'm going to keep it shorter, so I'll try to do that. Okay, so I'll just get back into our slides and make sure we're there. Okay, so yeah, so as I mentioned, we had our speaking from our CTO, CFO, and CIO, who all have diverse backgrounds and capabilities. But you can see here that Wilson is looking after technology and our regulatory side, especially because of his experience as an elected official in Australia. comes with a good background of Mag 7 companies, and understanding how things like that work in that space, and just going to be very important as we go into public offering and public kind of company, to be able to understand, report, and build that, as well as like very strong networking skills. I don't think you can become a elected official without being a very good networker, and that's certainly what he's done. And Brett, is responsible for governance and finance, and this is very important, obviously, in terms of compliance and building out a global kind of company. And with rounding it out with Brian looking after our systems and security going forward, I feel very happy and confident that we're going to be able to build out our vision. So just quickly going to our latest updates. We have recently begun our global shared service center, and this is part of our vision to support future expansion and M&A activities. I'll explain a little bit more about what we're thinking of doing with that in the later on, but the idea basically is that we have to be able to support expansion around the globe, and while keeping compliant and keeping our services up. So that's not been easy to set up a new center to do that. Our chief of staff and everyone together with that has really supported us to do this. We've improved in areas, and you will soon see a lot of improvement in liquidity and staking. So this is something that I know we needed to improve in, especially for in the beginning of this year, and we're very happy that we've been able to get ourselves aligned with one of the largest global liquidity providers, that also will give us the ability for MiCA compliant services going forward. And this basically means more tokens and more projects on our exchange. Insofar as the affiliate program is concerned, we also spoke about this last, and basically what we have going on here is what we're going to be doing here with the affiliate program really is looking into how we can map out the systems and things like this going forward from this. So these are the latest updates that we have for our system, and we'll just jump straight into our vision for 2025. So yeah, what we're looking at is really a lot of significant technological improvements, and this is going to be stemmed from actually, as what I mentioned, is that our strategy and our vision going forward for here is to look at doing mergers and acquisitions. Basically, rather than slowly building up our own technology or building up our own teams, we're looking at an expansion strategy that really focuses on mergers and acquisitions. And I think through this, as well as the team that we've built up, we're going to be really just building up a lot more in the technological area. We hope to realize our ambitions as a global exchange with a US listing. And what this really means is that we have to build up the trust, build up the strength of our company. And we're going to do that through, making a bigger market for our services, a bigger market for the company and the shares as well, and also raise additional hopefully significant amounts of capital to make that happen. We're also looking to launch into the US market, and we'll be looking at a specific niche of the US market going forward, but we just see tremendous opportunities there in all of the things that I've discussed in the past, which basically cover everything from custodial services, liquidity provision, funds, exchange traded funds, and also in the payments and payroll systems. And then finally, for integration, and Karl spoke about this as one of the reasons why Maxim was interested, is we're looking at how we can go forward with the eSync technology to power new US-based compliance-focused blockchain stack. So we'll be looking at SSI, so single source of information for KYC, zero knowledge proof, which basically will allow you to prove you are a certain person and you have certain credentials, certain histories, without actually giving away that. So it's going to improve the privacy of individuals. And this really boils down into making this project look at DPIN, which is decentralized infrastructure, and we have a roadmap and a vision for that. We're going to speak a lot more about this in a future AMA, specifically for eSync. But I think that covers off where we're headed at the moment for our vision of what we'd like to achieve for this year. In that, we have a bit of a roadmap, and this is covering both Blocktrade and the eSync network, as you know, from last year, and going forward from here. We've slowly started to integrate eSync systems and the project into our ecosystem. And so our activities across the next few quarters and into the 2026 will be along the lines of right now in the Q1, we're looking at doing our consolidation and our audits, our M&A activities, our pre-IPO fundraising, and then releasing a white paper on what I mentioned is the systems that can power real-world assets and KYC. In Q2, we hope to close something in our M&A activities and transfer over to US. And when I say close, it's just a term that we use in finance, just to make that when we finish the project off. And then we'll finalize the of our consolidation exercises, because we've been doing a lot of consolidation work. I mean, between Blocktrade, eSync, and the activities that we have going on day to day. And then we're looking, and technology-wise, to expand into securities and derivatives through some interesting things that we hope to achieve in terms of licensing and in terms of partnerships. For Q3, we'll be looking at closing the reincorporation of Blocktrade into the new group in the US, and then actually the market expansion in the European Economic Area and non-EU countries, and also releasing the MVP of our real-world assets applications. So I've been working very closely with Wilson on this, and we're really been trying to map that out, and hopefully we're going to be able to build that up forward and get that done by Q3. So we'll have an MVP out. That means we'll be able to use it, and that we have a nice launch there. So basically, at that particular point, we'll also hopefully be making the ITO, or initial token offering, from the US entity. And then in Q4, we hope that by early Q4, our IPO will be complete. And we also be able to get the SRO registration and licensing happening. And then by Q1 2026, we hope to be, the number one EU listed exchange, and hopefully by then still the only one, and also have a top real-world asset chain and software stack. So that covers the roadmap and for what we're doing. And now I'm just going to get into a few interesting announcements for us. And this is, just covering the space of what we have. So we had a BTEX and information memorandum expression of interest. And we had over 2,400 or 2,400 EOIs come in. Initial review has been completed, and everyone will be contacted a bit further soon. The request, of course, with this went also information memorandum, which covers information on the company itself, and also what we'll be doing going forward. And this is also part of our pre-IPO fundraising. It will not be an offer to purchase anything or do anything, but it's an information memorandum to let you understand where we're sitting. And that will go out to existing shareholders and EOI respondents. And then we have a very special announcement, which is I can't give the full details of yet, but basically we have managed to mutually sign LOI for a merger and acquisition of another group together. This is another basically another exchange and Web3 group that is comparably large and has a lot of technologies and things that and branding that we think will help us to build our project going forward. This is really exciting. I've been working hard on this, and it's something that we'll announce more in the future, I think, together with this other company. But for now, what I just want to say is that yeah, this is done. It's signed, and our backend team and our finance team has obviously already started working closely with the other company's team into this merger exercise. So this is really exciting, and yeah, hopefully something that we're going to be able to make a great success out of. What it's going to mean is bigger liquidity, more projects, more features, more markets, and greater opportunities to enjoy the Web3 space. So yeah, huge things coming, and really hope that all of you will be part of it. Please monitor your emails for BTEX information, the information memorandums, and eventually the offers that may come in. We need your support, and there's going to be huge opportunities going forward. As you can see, we've already done what we can, and by bringing on the right people, advisors, investment banks, and everything else, and they're all very excited to make this happen for us. So yeah, we're really looking forward to doing that, and I think it's really a show of I guess confidence and strength that we're able to make this announcement in a public way, and have our team here with us. So yeah, really thanks everyone. I think it is a bit short today because it's just coming up 40 minutes, which is really nice for me. It's, as you can see, it's very dark outside. Well, you can see the red reflections, but here I am in our office, and it's dark outside. So yeah, I hope that everyone's had a very informative session. And we will hold AMAs in the future, so you can ask questions and things like that. But because we've had guests and other things here today, it just the address format really made more sense for us. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for being here and coming in to speak to us today. I'm sorry, not speak to us, listen to us today. And yeah, really looking forward to keeping everyone updated and building up our project. So take care, and wish everyone the best, and really looking forward to 2025. Bye.